Hello guys, and welcome to this video. So my question for you today is, why are you learning Python? If you've got anything interesting to say, then please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you in a moment. So if you're on Ubuntu, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the Windows button and we're going to go to our terminal. Now I've actually changed some of the default settings on my terminal so it gets big like this by default. It's maximized. Yours probably won't do that. Anyway, so on Ubuntu, I believe, don't quote me on this, I think Python 2 comes by default. And you can actually check this the following way. If you type in Python version like this, you'll get your Python 2 version. In my case, it's 2.7.17. But what we want, of course, is Python 3. But you can do that exactly the same way by just adding a 3 at the end of this Python version thing. So I've got Python 3.6.9, and if you don't have that installed, I'm not sure what message would have come up. It probably would have said you can install Python, or you just don't have Python installed. I don't know. So if you haven't got it installed, let's get going. Right, so what you want to do is, again in the terminal, we're just going to do an update first. So we're going to do sudo apt get update, just like this. And then you want to put in your password, which you've probably set up. And this is just going to fetch a whole bunch of stuff from Ubuntu to make sure all our packages are up to date before we do anything. So I'm quite surprised by that. Okay, so next step, we've got our update. Now we want to do sudo apt get install. Now if you're not used to Linux, then you could just press the up button on the terminal and that will actually take you to the last command that you executed. So sudo apt get install, and what do we want to install? We want to install Python 3, and just like that I think it should be ready to use, but we're not quite done yet. We also want to install pip, and pip is really cool. It's Python's own package manager, and what it's going to do, it's just going to allow you to easily install libraries for your Python 3 version in the future. And what's great about it, of course, is that whether you're using Windows or Linux or Mac OS, by using the Python pip installer, it doesn't matter. It's kind of it's platform independent. You know, you will just be able to do a pip install and it will install it for whichever environment you're working in. So on top of that, we actually want something else as well. We want Python 3, and it's called dev. Now you don't need to worry about this, but we will need this later if you're interested in learning some machine learning and computer vision in particular. So let's download those two things, and that should be super quick. And that's all the downloads done. So now that all our downloads are done, what we want to do is we're going to be using a few Linux commands. So firstly, we're going to do this make directory, which is just going to create a new folder for us, and I'm going to call it basics. Now you can call it Python scripts or just Python files, it doesn't really matter. So we've made this directory, and if I click list, we can actually see it over here on the bottom left hand side. And with cd, which stands for change directory, another Linux command, we're just going to go into this basics directory or folder, whichever you like to call it. Now using the list command again, you can see that directory is empty, of course, because we created it empty. So what we want to do is use a touch command to just put in a Python file, and we're going to call it hello.py. Whoops, that's hello.py, but it will actually create that, so we need to remove that. So we're going to use the rm, which stands for remove, and we're just going to try that again, but this time we're going to type hello.py, and if we list now, we're going to have this hello.py file. So at this point, what you could really do is you could go into, if you're not used to the command line, you could go into the folder you've created, and then you could open this with your favorite editor. You know, whether it's Sublime or just a text editor or Emacs, it doesn't matter too much, or Vim. I'm going to use Emacs from my command line. So we're going to open this, and it's going to open an empty file, and it's just a text editor. So in here, we can now finally do our print statement, in which we're just going to do hello world, which is the hello world example everyone does. And it's going to be our very first Python script executed on the command line of Ubuntu. And we do that by calling Python 3. That's the program, and what do we want to execute? we want to execute hello.py. And just like that, we've just executed our first Python script on Ubuntu. So hopefully that was useful. Again, leave a comment as to why you're learning Python. I would love to know. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video.